tunes.
Picture this. You're in a tiny boat in the middle of a giant lake. The waves are taller than your house. The wind is howling like a monster, and you're still hours from safety.
We're not gonna make it. These waves are too big.
But wait until you see what happens next. In just a few minutes, this same terrified fisherman will do something absolutely impossible. Something that will make your jaw drop. Have you ever been so scared that you forgot God was with you? Well, Peter was about to learn the most amazing lesson about fear and faith. And by the end of this story, you'll discover a truth that could change how you handle scary situations forever. But how did we get here? Let me show you something incredible that happened just hours before. Earlier that day, something amazing had happened. Jesus had just fed 15,000 people with only 5 small loaves of bread and 2 little fish. Now, back in those days, there were no grocery stores or restaurants. When you ran out of food in the wilderness, you went hungry. But Jesus had done the impossible.
Friends, it's time for you to go across the lake. Take the boat to Bethsaida. I need to spend some time alone with my father.
But Master, shouldn't we wait for you? What if the weather turns bad?
Don't worry, Peter. I'll meet you on the other side.
Now Peter was a professional fisherman. He'd been sailing this lake since he was a boy. He knew every wind pattern and weather sign. But something felt different tonight.
Brother, look at those clouds. This could get rough.
Jesus said to go, so we go. He's never steered us wrong before.
Just like when your parents ask you to do something that seems hard or scary, the disciples had to choose between worry and trust. They chose to obey, even though the sky looked threatening. What they didn't know was that Jesus was about to teach them the most important lesson of their lives. A lesson about what happens when fear tries to sink our faith. While his friends sailed across the lake, Jesus climbed up the mountain to pray. You see, even though Jesus was God's son, he still needed to talk with his Father about important things.
Father, the people saw the miracle today, but they still don't understand who I really am. Help my disciples learn to trust you, even when they're afraid.
Meanwhile, out on the lake, the disciples were discovering that following Jesus doesn't always mean smooth sailing.
Peter, the wind's against us. We're barely moving.
Keep rowing, we can make it.
For hours, they fought the storm. These weren't gentle waves. They were mountains of water crashing over the boat. Have you ever been in a situation where the harder you tried, the worse things got?
We've been rowing all night. We're exhausted.
Maybe we should turn back.
No! Jesus told us to go to the other side. We don't give up.
Back then, boats didn't have motors. When the wind blew against you, rowing was the only way forward. And these men had been rowing for 6 hours straight. But high up on the mountain, Jesus knew exactly what was happening, and he was about to do something that would blow their minds. It was now between 3 and 6 in the morning. The disciples had been battling this storm all night long. They were exhausted, scared, and wondering if they'd made a terrible mistake.
Peter, I can barely lift the oars anymore.
Just a little more, brother. We can't give up now.
Wait, what is that?
And then they saw something absolutely impossible. Something that made them question if they were dreaming.
That looks like a person.
Walking on the water, that's impossible.
Imagine seeing someone stroll across a swimming pool during a hurricane. That's what the disciples were witnessing. Jesus was walking on top of the waves like they were a sidewalk.
It's a ghost. We're all going to die.
It's a spirit, a phantom.
Now remember, these were grown men. Tough fishermen who'd seen everything the sea could throw at them. But they'd never seen anything like this.
Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid.
Those 4 words, "It is I," that's how God introduced himself to Moses at the burning bush. Jesus was telling them he wasn't just their teacher, he was God himself.
Lord, if it's really you, command me to come to you on the water.
Now here's where Peter did something incredibly brave and incredibly crazy at the same time.
Come on, Peter.
Can you imagine what Peter was thinking? Every logical thought in his head was screaming that this was impossible. People don't walk on water. People sink.
Peter, don't do it. You'll drown.
This is madness.
But if Jesus says I can do it,
This is the moment when Peter had to choose. Would he trust what his eyes could see, the impossible storm and deep water? Or would he trust what Jesus said was possible?
it's holding me.
And then Peter did something that no other human being had ever done before. He walked on water.
I can't believe this is happening. I'm actually walking on water.
Keep your eyes on me, Peter. Keep coming.
For those first few steps, Peter experienced what it felt like to do the impossible. When he focused on Jesus, fear couldn't touch him.
This is incredible. I'm doing it. I'm really doing it.
Peter's walking on water. He's actually walking on water.
But then something happened that happens to all of us sometimes. Peter took his eyes off Jesus and started looking at his problems instead.
These waves are huge. This wind is so strong. What am I doing out here?
The moment Peter started thinking about all the reasons why this was impossible, something terrible happened.
I'm sinking. Lord, save me.
You of little faith, why did you doubt?
Notice that Jesus didn't let Peter sink. The moment Peter cried out for help, Jesus was right there. That's how God responds when we're in trouble.
I'm sorry, Master. I was doing so well, but then I got scared.
Peter, you did something amazing. You stepped out of the boat when everyone else stayed behind.
Here's what's beautiful about this moment. Jesus didn't scold Peter for sinking. He praised him for trying. Sometimes God cares more about our courage than our perfect performance.
Brother, are you all right?
I walked on water. I actually walked on water, but then I got afraid and started sinking.
At least you tried. I was too scared to even ask.
And then something even more amazing happened.
The storm just stopped.
The wind is completely gone.
In biblical times, storms didn't just suddenly stop. Weather patterns took hours to change. But when Jesus got in the boat, nature itself obeyed his command.
Truly, you are the Son of God.
This wasn't just a cool magic trick. The disciples finally understood something incredible. Jesus wasn't just their teacher or friend. He was the God who created the wind and waves.
Master, forgive us for doubting you.
My friends, I will always be with you, even when the storms of life seem overwhelming. Remember what happened here tonight.
And Peter learned something that would change him forever. Faith isn't about never being afraid. Faith is about crying out to Jesus when you are afraid. As they reached the other side safely, Peter couldn't stop thinking about what had just happened.
Jesus, why did I sink? I was doing so well.
Peter, what were you looking at when you started walking?
You, Master. I was looking right at you.
And what were you looking at when you started to sink?
The waves, the storm, all the scary things around me.
That's the lesson, my friend. When you focus on me, you can do impossible things. When you focus on your fears, they pull you down.
This is a lesson every kid needs to learn. It's not that we'll never face scary situations, but we can choose what to focus on when we do.
So faith isn't about not being afraid.
Faith is about trusting me even when you are afraid. Peter was scared, but he still stepped out of the boat. That took great courage.
You know what's amazing? Years later, Peter would face much scarier situations. He'd be thrown in prison for following Jesus. He'd be threatened by powerful enemies. But he never forgot this night. Because once you've walked on water with Jesus, you know that nothing is impossible when you keep your eyes on him.
Master, will we ever be able to do miracles like this?
If you have faith and don't doubt, you can tell a mountain to move into the sea, and it will happen. Nothing is impossible for those who believe.
From that day forward, whenever the disciples faced scary situations, they remembered this night. They remembered that Jesus had power over storms, over nature, over everything that frightened them.
I'll never forget this, Master. When I start to sink, I'll call out to you.
And I'll always be right there to catch you, Peter. Always.
The story of Peter walking on water isn't just about an amazing miracle from long ago. It's about how God wants to work in your life today. Just like Peter, you face storms in your life. Maybe it's the first day at a new school, and you don't know anyone. Maybe someone's being mean to you, and you're scared to tell a grown-up. Maybe your parents are going through a hard time, and you're worried about your family. Or maybe you want to do the right thing, but you're afraid of what others might think. Here's what Peter learned that night, and what you can learn too. When you focus on Jesus and ask for his help, you can do things that seem impossible. You might not walk on actual water, but you can walk through scary situations with courage. You can be kind when others are mean. You can tell the truth when it's hard. You can trust God when you're afraid. And just like Jesus caught Peter when he started to sink, God will catch you when you stumble. He's always right there, ready to help when you call out to him. Remember, faith isn't about being perfect. Peter sank, but Jesus still called him a hero for trying. God cares more about your heart than your mistakes.
God, help me be brave like Peter.
So this week, when you face something scary, remember Peter's story. Keep your eyes on Jesus, step out in faith, and watch what amazing things God can do through you. What storm in your life needs Jesus to calm it? What impossible thing is God asking you to trust Him with? Just like Peter, you can cry out, "Lord, save me," and know that Jesus is right there to catch you. The next time you're afraid, remember this truth. Fear sinks, but faith lifts. And with Jesus, you can walk on water through any storm life brings your way. Here are some questions for your family to talk about this week. First, what storms in your life feel too big to handle alone? Second, when have you stepped out in faith like Peter, even though you were scared? Third, how can our family help each other keep our eyes on Jesus during difficult times? Here is your challenge this week. When you face something scary this week, pray, "Jesus, help me keep my eyes on you," and take one brave step forward. Here is your memory verse for this week. Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid. Matthew 14:27. Prayer for this week. Dear Jesus, thank you for being with us in every storm. Help us be brave like Peter and trust you even when we're afraid. When we start to sink, remind us to call out to you. Amen. Thanks for watching. If the story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe for more biblical adventures. Stay blessed and see you in the next story.